Hi everyone, welcome to DIY Ideas. So today I'm doing 5 DIY ideas that are simple but cool to do. So these are all going to be ideas for beginners in sewing. I decided to do this, a couple of them in the same video so that you can see what different kinds of things you can do even if you're a beginner. So I decided to do it as a gift version because they're kind of small projects and I think they would also serve as really great last minute ideas, and they're also really cool to practice on. So if you want to see what I did, stay tuned. So I'll show you how to do a dog bone shaped cushion. So this is cool because it has 3 sides total. So it's like a triangle shape or even a pyramid shape if you like. So you can find these online and all the different things you can do with it and how you can use it. I think it's originally called a reading cushion or even a bone cushion, but a reading bone or something like that. So they're pretty cool to use. Feel free to check that out as well. I would like to make one for myself, but this would also make a perfect gift for someone who likes reading. It's super simple. It has only 3 stitches you gotta do total, so it's perfect for beginners. So let's get started so you can learn how to do this. So you can use any fabric of your choice. I decided to use a bit sturdier fabric, so the stuff you can usually see furniture out of, but cotton or anything else works just as well. If you decide to use something stretchy, it might look a bit different, but I think the result will still be interesting. So choose your own fabric. It's really up to you what you want it to be like. So you will need fabric, any stuffing or filling material, fabric scissors, pins, and something to measure with. And you will need 3 identical bone-shaped pieces of fabric. So here is mine, and I just drew this by hand and cut the 3 out. So make sure that it's symmetrical when you fold it like this, and this way as well. You can draw it on a piece of paper, so just 1/4 of it actually, so you would fold it twice, and then you can put the folded fabric underneath and cut it out. You can also do 1 by 1 or cut them all together if you lay one fabric on top of the other. So that's pretty much up to you how you want to do this. So let's get started. So as I mentioned, if you want to find this online, this shape, you can Google reading cushion or bone cushion, maybe even reading bone. Anyway, we will now align our fabric pretty side on pretty side again, so like this, and we will pin it together to make it stay in place, but just the 1/2. This one you leave as it is because the 3rd piece of fabric will go there, so just the 1/2 all the way to the other side. So now that this stitch is done, you can open this up and align the last or 3rd piece of fabric. Align the middle line and pin together. So here or wherever you think it's not going to be noticeable, I'll do a little opening or I'll stop the stitch there so that I can turn this inside out later when I'm done so that we can stuff the inside. So Now we will just do the same simple stitch that we just did on the other two pieces and make sure you align everything nicely. So now we can just turn this inside out. And let's stuff this, so take your time and don't forget the corners. And now that this is done as well, you can close your opening, and this is the last step as well, and then you're actually done. The next idea I want to show you are these warmers for your coffee cups. So if you have a reusable cup of coffee, you might want to make it a bit like your own personality, so you can customize it as well, or you can just make it prettier in any way you like. So it's a cool decoration, but it also keeps the drink inside warm for longer, so it even has a practical side to it. So yeah, you can sew this out of pretty much any fabric of your choice, or you can take some felt and then simply connect it by hand. So I decided to show you two different styles so that you can decide which one you like better and which one you want to do. Here I put heat on, but you can even do a nice name on here if you decide to do it as a gift. So first off, you will need a reusable coffee cup of your choice. Some pins, fabric scissors, measuring tape or something flexible to measure with, and any fabric of your choice, felt or some supporting fabric if your fabric is too thin. So now we will measure the width that we need. So the top width in my case is about 26 centimeters, and I think I'll add about 5 millimeters extra since I want to do the stitch there. Or actually it might be even better if you add 1 centimeter so that you have enough room when you stitch the sides up. And then I'll go a bit to the bottom. So 23 centimeters here. And then I need my height as well. In my case, it's about 8 centimeters. I'll take those measurements for my fabric. So you need a piece of your pretty fabric. If thin, you can take any supporting fabric to make it a bit sturdier. And one more time, my original fabric for the back. And then you see that I cut this out, so the side widens as you go from bottom to top because of different widths of the cup itself. So I made a little mistake while filming, and this is why I already have this done, although not on video. But anyway, align pretty side on pretty side here, and then you just want to make sure when you do this that it's really nicely and neatly aligned. So you want the longer side on the longer side, since they aren't equal this time. So same on both sides, and then you do the longer stitches already. And then you can fold this like that, and that way you don't have to hide it later, and you have a nice and neat edge. And now we can turn this inside out to actually see the outside section of our fabric. Feel free to use a safety pin if it's a bit thicker to get through here. And now we're almost done, so we can now get to the last stitch, so the one we are connecting. So push the one side into the other, the prettier one. and do a stitch here. So you can do it by hand as well, or you can align the edges another way. Maybe like this, and then you will turn it inside out, and then it might look a little bit dumb on the inside because you'll see the frayed section of the fabric inside. So I recommend going into the other end so that it's nicer and neater from both sides in the end. But yeah, sewing machine or by hand, both techniques work. So like this, and you just sew it together, and then you would turn away so that you can hide the stitch that's visible, like this. So here we are now. I hope you guys like the result. So this is, as I mentioned, highly customizable. You can make this even longer if you like. The whole cup can be inside. It's pretty much up to you what you want to do. The edge here is nice and neat, which I really like. In the other version that I want to show you as well, so the felt version that I did too. Yeah, you can see here the difference in style. So I just took one piece of felt, and if you don't have a sewing machine, this might work even better than the first version. So I took a bit thicker felt. I hope you can notice the thickness I chose here, but this is also pretty much up to you. And then here on the back, I just did a really simple stitch with any thread that I found matching. Here, I decided to show you what else you can do to decorate. So letters, names, shapes, pretty much anything you want on here. So yeah, the result is pretty cool. These warmers, generally both versions. So feel free to choose whichever you like better. Make it original, make it like you or like a friend you're doing it for. And yeah, it's a really cool result. So the next idea is rather wrapping than a gift, but it's also super cute. So this is out of fabric this time. It's super easy to do and also super pretty. So the stitches are very easy to do. This is for pretty much anything you would like it to be. So smaller gifts or maybe chocolates or something like that. My idea is even lavender for your closet so that you don't have any moths. So yeah, choose whatever you like or need. Here I did a bit different style, but it's still the same project. So let's get started. So you won't need much this time. So some safety pins here, then, regular pins, then fabric scissors, any rope or band or whatever you want for the top. And I have here 2 different ones as examples, plus the fabric of your choice. So this is super simple. You can choose whichever size you want. You can make this super big or super tiny. So depending on what this is for, the purpose of it might be a good idea on how to decide on size. If you want this for something bigger, then make it bigger. If it's something tiny, then leave it tiny. In my case, my pieces are 15 times 30 centimeters and I folded them together, but this is actually the big piece. And this one is even a bit bigger, but the size is really up to you. So fold in half like this, put it that way, like what you want to get in the end. So not pretty side on pretty side this time, but just a regular fold like this. When you do that, you can do the side stitches all the way to the top. So from bottom to top, both on the left and the right side. And I'll do the same with the other piece. So everything I say for the one piece goes for the other. So I'll show you both in the end, but it's the same process for both. So now that we did this, let's turn this inside out and make sure the corners are out. And now go over the stitches one more time. Make sure that you align the stitches nicely. So the distance is longer than what the leftover fabric is, so you can't see this. So I did the stitch as close as I could to the end this time, so the first time, but now I'll do it a bit further away from the edge. This is called a French stitch, so that way you don't have frizz from the inside and also no visible stitches. So the extra stitch is kind of hiding it, and then you have an absolutely perfect and neat result, and nothing like, for example, you would see on this side. So this is what we have. Let's turn it inside out. And now you can see the stitch that we hid, so both from the inside and out. So this step is done. Now the next step is to fix the top. So you can do different things. You can iron over it for the neatest result. I'll fold it twice inwards, I'll pin it together, and then I'll do a stitch there as well. So I didn't finish the seam all the way, but if you want, you can do that. In my case, I want to push the band through with a safety pin so that I have a nice band to close up the opening later. But this is completely optional. Okay, so here I am now. So I filled both of these with cotton wool so that you can see what it would look like when it's stuffed from the inside, regardless of what you're actually gonna put inside. So this is what it looks like. This is the end result. In my case, the second version was without the band, so I just did the stitch and then I tied it around. So let me fetch that one for you to show you. Yeah, here it is. So also stuff that you see what it looks like, but all in all, not that different. So just the top sections I decided to do differently, but both are fairly simple to do. One before last is a holder for your cell phone. So I got this idea online and I decided to try it out myself. I thought it was a super cool way when you're watching videos or when you're doing something like that on your phone. I usually have to hold it or put it against something, but this way I can put it anywhere and the phone fits perfectly, won't slip from here, is completely safe. In my case, I filled it with rice, but pretty much anything works. So if you're looking for something else, feel free to do that. I wanted to make it a bit heavier on purpose, so that's why I'm using rice. That's a bit heavier alternative. Also, in my case, the fabric is a bit sturdier, definitely not stretchy, although you can experiment with that as well. It's a really cool gift. It's a really cool gift for yourself even, and it's super simple to do. So let's get right to it. So we need our fabric scissors, some pins, something to measure with, rice or any other filling or stuffing material. Rice is a bit heavier than anything resembling cotton wool or something like that, but this is up to you. And of course the fabric. The size is as well up to you, so in my case I did 18 times 28 centimeters, but all in all you need 2 pieces of any size you want to match your phone. So take something that's a bit sturdier and something that's not really super smooth or somewhat slippery. So for the back or the bottom, I used this kind of, well, I guess fox leather, and here this furniture, sturdy furniture fabric. So this is gonna be super simple, so align your pieces. Pretty side on pretty side, and then you do a stitch along the 2 longer sides. So the one side is going to be the bottom. So this is where I will do the opening and the spot where I'll pour in the rice later. So make sure to leave a little opening on there. The stitch is a plain straight stitch, and make sure to leave an opening to turn it later. So do the corners here so that you can stuff it. Here we are, last stitch is the top one, so we won't simply do a stitch here. Instead, we will put it the other way around so that we can get a really cool effect in the end. So something like this. So just connect the top section this way. So now you can turn it inside out and afterwards fill it with rice. Make sure you don't rip anything, take your time. And make sure to fix your corners as well. So now you can fill this. As you can see, it can get a bit messy. Make sure that this is not too packed because you want the one side to be flat and not round so that our phone stays on here. So now we will close this up and then we will be completely done. And this is our last gift idea for today. So I'm doing a sewn keychain decoration. In my case, I decided to do a letter, so J, but you can use any shape and any size of your choice. You can make it extra large or super tiny. You can do letters, you can do other shapes, pretty much whatever you want. It is a super simple project to do. You won't need many different things for it as well. So yeah, make it highly customizable, make it the way you wanted to have it, and let's get started. For this project, you need next to nothing, so a little bit of fabric and your fabric scissors. And your sewing machine, you can do this by hand, but it might take a bit longer then. And you will also need fabric that you can draw your shape on, a letter or anything else that you want. So as I said, it's pretty much up to you. In my case, it's the letter J. So whatever your shape is, draw it on the back of your piece and then you can align it with the other fabric as well. Also, when you draw it or sketch it on here, make sure that you think that this is the back side of the fabric, meaning that you want the picture to be mirrored or the shape to be mirrored. So this is the back side. I also did an optional band on top so that I can hang it up later. So as I mentioned, fabrics go aligned, pretty side on pretty side. It can be any fabric of your choice. You can stuff it, you don't have to. So this is again highly customizable. These are my two fabrics of choice this time, and also when you sketch this, make sure you leave room for the stitch. So don't go all the way to the edge, but a little bit to the inside. Yeah, make sure to leave, I guess, about 1 centimeter or a little bit less, depending on how much experience you have and how closely you can sew. So yeah, this is why my shape is a little bit smaller. So here is my result. I cut off the excess fabric and now I'll turn it inside out here on the top. make sure you're very careful. If it's a bit more complicated shape like the letter K, in that case, take your time, and the pencil or something like that might even help with it. So in my case, I decided to stuff this a little bit with just regular cotton wool, and a really cool trick to know, I pushed it in with a pencil. So anyway, we can now close it up, and we can do that while we do the band on top at the same time. So you can fold it inwards, or you can do the band inside first and then close it up, or sew it by hand, or any way you want it. And then you're pretty much done. So this is going to be our last step for today. So you guys, here are 5 projects, 5 hand-sewn or machine-sewn DIY projects, last-minute gift ideas, call them what you want, but feel free to let me know which one you like best or which one you tried out. Also, you can shoot us a thumbs up if you enjoyed these ideas. If you want to stay tuned for more, you can do that by subscribing to our channel, and that way stay notified with all the new videos that we post. So until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye!